Hey, what's up, guys? Here at this YouTube channel, we like to make fun of right-wing dorks. One of my favorite dorks, who fancies himself a YouTube philosopher, is this guy named Warren Smith. He likes to comment on culture war bullshit, but also thinks that he's some sort of arbiter of critical thinking. One of his latest videos, he is analyzing a conversation between Ben Shapiro and Neil deGrasse Tyson. And the topic of conversation is transgenderism. This guy is like obsessed with the transgenders, okay? It seems to be like 90% of what he talks about. He's obsessed with transgender people, okay? And that's how he got famous, right? The J.K. Rowling video, whatever. All right, let's get into it.
Shapiro stumbled into this not expecting to have a debate. I think he's genuinely caught off guard a bit.
If we're actually going to have a discussion about gender and sex, that should be based in data.
I'm happy to opine on this.
And a bit shocked by the nonsense that he's hearing.
This only matters because today we segregate nearly all sports by gender.
To be faced with a famous scientist spouting nonsense at this level is extraordinary.
Otherwise, why do you even give a shit?
This is the point that Neil deGrasse Tyson continues to make. It's the only point he can really make is, why are you pointing out scientific fact here? Why do you care about this?
If we actually live in a free country, as we tell ourselves, people's freedom to behave in any of those ways should not concern you at all.
And the problem is that when someone's rights trample the rights of others.
What is unresolved here is, what do you do with sports?
He puts out his classic argument of the future of sports is through hormonal levels, and those who fall within not male and female sports.
And I've tried to think of what the future of sports would be in the world of a gender spectrum. And it may be, you don't specify whether it's a male or female sport. You just take measurements of what your hormonal balances are.
Ben's face there, he's kind of like, okay, I see some problems here, but.
You talk in your book about the.
I mean, what's the alternative, though? I mean, are we just going to completely exclude trans people from participating in sports? Like, how is that fair to them? They're literally being treated as subhuman. You can't participate in this thing that every other human has the right to participate in. No, because you don't have the right thing between your legs, you can't participate.
Education of children and teaching children about science. And right now, children are being taught about the quote-unquote gender spectrum, which is not scientifically based. That is a theory-based idea.
No, wait, hold on. People express themselves on a spectrum. So you learn that.
That's a social point, not a scientific point.
It's been starting to articulate the difference between a social construct and a scientific fact.
Meaning we express ourselves
hold on.
in based.
Yeah, except, I'm not an expert in this field. I'm one of those grade A morons, many people call me. But there's absolutely scientific research into transgenderism. It's not merely a social phenomena.
In different languages. Is that something you teach in science class, or is that something that you teach when you're teaching language?
So whether the fact that people want to express themselves on a spectrum, on a gender spectrum, whether that fact is something you want to put in a sociology class or in a science class, maybe that remains to be determined.
It either is a scientific objective fact or it's not. You should know this, being the guy who wrote the book on teaching children scientific fact. And notice he just completely evades that. Doesn't address what Ben just said.
So
the question is, what is the relationship of that to biology? Meaning that the argument is made that trans women are women, for example. And what that seems to mean is that trans women are identical to women. Now, if people want to say trans women are not biological women, obviously that is the case. But people don't seem to want to say that, although that is obvious.
Who is saying that, trans women are biologically women? Who's saying that? Like, who's saying that? Some kook on Reddit? Who gives a shit? Like, nobody is saying that a trans man is a biological man or a trans woman is a biological woman.
Obviously scientifically true. Trans women are not biological women. Biological women are biological women.
But where are you going with this? What are you trying to accomplish by asking yourself, is it science or is it not science?
But he's completely circumventing whether or not it is a scientific objective fact. Regardless of how you want to use that fact, where does that fit into the larger story? And the story is more important than the scientific fact. Well, that fits into the sponsor of today's.
Wait, what? Story is more important than scientific fact? I don't understand. Is that what you're saying, or you're saying Neil deGrasse Tyson is saying that?
Video Ground
here's
News.
an ad.
Ground News is an app and website that lets you compare perspectives on
here's
any
an
topic
ad.
with full transparency on the political bias.
It's like he's trying to fucking audition for the Daily Wire.
Ground News comes in.
But this is a perfect example of an area where suddenly it doesn't matter to say things that are just true.
And it's shocking to me to see a famous scientist make an actual argument against objectively simply make a scientific observation without being asked, why do you want to make that observation?
Wait, what observation? Nobody is saying, okay, like nobody, like, there isn't a large contingent of people saying that you can be biologically the opposite sex. Who is saying that? Who?
Like, why is it bad or wrong to point out?
I have another way to approach this.
But where do you go from there?
I care what is objectively true in the world as a scientist.
But what Ben just said a moment ago was objectively true. And your response was, well, where are you going with this?
I just simply care what is objectively true. And science happens to be a pretty potent path to invoke.
But not
to
the only one.
Find out what is true. And so if people express themselves on a gender spectrum, and that is an actual thing in an actual society, if we have not fully explained that scientifically, that's an interesting frontier to study.
Okay. I'm not sure why you're even going into this. Why are you arguing?
Because it's an interesting way to take the conversation. Like, yeah, not every question that we can, ask, or every phenomenon that we can observe, necessarily has to fall under the purview of science. Now, I do think there are scientific ways to approach transgender people. There is a scientific, inquiry there, but it's not the only and maybe most important way to approach transgender people.
Against objective science and objective fact.
It's real and it's there.
Well,
Because
Against, okay. I'm not sure why you're even going into this. Why are you arguing against objective science and objective fact?
Is he arguing against it? Or bringing up that there are other ways to talk about this topic?
real and it's there.
Well,
Because it's real because it manifests.
but it is real because it manifests. But the question of how to classify manifestation is a scientific question.
Are there some topics that should not be
The way
studied
to
scientifically?
classify manifestation is a scientific question. What is sociology a science? Is philosophy a science in the traditional sense?
I think the concern is if you study some topic that's a hot button topic and you bring scientific methods and tools to it, we don't trust. I'm interpreting here. I think we as a society don't trust that people in charge in a free country won't try to legislate something that will constrict people's freedoms.
To be clear here, Neil deGrasse Tyson
Yeah.
is making an argument for not exploring the scientific explanation for certain topics. It's better not to know what could be known.
But what could be known? We know that, you cannot change your biological sex. That's not what people are saying. It's not what large numbers of people on the left are saying. So what is your point? Like,
It's truly remarkable.
My general take on
wait,
The
what?
scientific explanation for certain topics. It's not.
Freedoms.
To be clear here, Neil deGrasse Tyson is making an argument for not exploring the scientific explanation for certain topics. It's better not to know what could be known. It's truly remarkable.
my general take on
Truly
all of this stuff,
remarkable.
from climate change to gender dysphoria to all of these issues, is bring out the science and then let's hash it out. I think that the problem I'm seeing
Yeah,
on a
but
lot
the
of
question
sides
is, what is your motivation?
That's the key point in this entire dialogue is what is your motivation for asking these questions, for delving into this scientific truth?
Why? Why does that matter?
It matters because if you have political power, you could end up creating legislation that subtracts freedoms from people who previously were enjoying the same freedoms as you. The history of that exercise
Then make a better argument.
doesn't end well.
Well, but the history of which exercise? Bring out all the science and let's hash it out.
Bring out all the science and let's hash it out. Yeah, like eugenics. Yeah, let's bring that back. Yeah, some people are just genetically superior to others. Remember that? Remember when people were saying that in the United States too? Obviously in Germany. They were fucking killing, genocided the Jews who were scientifically proven to be inferior. People with disabilities, right, were inferior. Like, let's not pretend that people didn't use the veneer of science to promote genocidal, murderous ideologies. I mean, come on. That's the most obvious example. You should know that. Ben Shapiro and Ward, whatever your name is.
You can make a better observation grounded in fact, logical reasoning, then that should win out. Because that is more likely to get us where we are trying to go.
Where are we trying
The
to
history
go?
of that exercise is a recipe for disaster.
Where are we trying to go? Like, eliminate transgenderism, like Michael Knowles said? I mean, where are we trying to go? Be specific, Warren. Say something explicitly, right? Make an actual point.
If it involves discoveries that put people's freedom as defined in our Constitution at risk.
But now you're arguing for limitations on areas of particular study.
Should they be let into the public domain of knowledge, then it could be wielded by politicians in ways that I don't like. So it's better that people are kept in the dark about these realities.
No,
But people are not, like, afraid to study gender dysphoria or transgenderism. Like, that's being studied, right? Like, we still have a long ways to go before we fully understand it, I think, right? But it's not like we're completely ignoring the scientific aspect of that. And nobody who wants to limit the rights of transgender people gives a shit about the science. They're like, you're not biologically this or that, so I hate you, and you can't use my bathroom. Not even in my house. I'm not even gonna let you in my house. You're gross.
arguing on we need a way to shield, we need a way to protect people's freedoms in the face of whatever gets discovered scientifically.
Yeah, do the science.
So
shield
I'll give it-
people.
I'll give
I mean, I agree. I think that's what the Constitution is for.
It's truly remarkable to see one of the most famous scientists in the world make an argument, literally, for not allowing people to gain knowledge.
What? But wait. Let's rewind the tape.
We need a way to shield, we need a way to protect people's freedoms In the face of whatever gets discovered scientifically.
In the face of whatever gets discovered scientifically. So he's not saying let's cut off all scientific research into this area. He's saying we need to protect vulnerable people. Right? It's that simple. And I guess this makes Neil deGrasse Tyson a fake? A fake what? A fake person? A fake American? A fake scientist, I guess, is his point. Why didn't he put fake scientist?
So
I'll give you.
I agree. I think that's what the Constitution is for.
It's truly remarkable to see one of the most famous scientists in the world make an argument, literally, for not allowing people to
He didn't do that.
gain knowledge in the off chance that it could be wielded in a way by politicians that he doesn't like or that could be negative.
That could be negative, yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. Another super stupid video by our premier YouTube intellectual, Warren Smith. He's truly one of the greatest thinkers of our time. A genius, many people would say. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go take a nap. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.